Today's topic is titrations, or what is also known as volumetric analysis. Titration or volumetric analysis, it is a method of analysis in which you will be finding the unknown concentration using a standard solution. Standard solution, it is the solution of known concentration, which we call titrant also. So it is taken in the burette, while the solution of unknown concentration, we will be taking the conical flask, and that is known as titrant. Now let us talk about the indicators. These are the chemicals which are required in minute concentration, and they help in determination of endpoint. That is, it will tell you about the completion of the reaction. They are taken in very minute amount. Hardly we take two or three drops of indicator, and they are of different types like internal indicator, external indicator, and self indicator. So if you are using indicator internally, that is, you are putting the indicator in the sample of unknown concentration, that is internal indicator, like phenolphthalein methyl orich. External indicator like potassium hexacyanoferrate, since they give permanent color, so they cannot be added internally, so they are taken outside on the tiles. Next is self indicator like potassium permanganate or potassium dichromate. They act as self indicator. They are taken as standard solution, and during the course of reaction they will undergo reduction or oxidation, and due to which there is color change, and there is no need to add any other indicator in this. Now let us talk about the standard solution, that is the solutions which you are taking in the burette, which is also known as titrant. So the standard solution, these are the solution of known concentration, so we will be preparing it like standard solution. It can be prepared on the basis of preparation. It can be primary standard or secondary standard. Primary standard solution, it is having a sufficient purity, and it can be prepared by directly weighing a quantity of it and dissolving in a suitable solvent. It is generally taken in grams per liter. Secondary standard solutions, they cannot be prepared directly, like NaOH. Since NaOH, if you start weighing it, it gives water. It is hygroscopic. So in that case, they will be first titrated it. We will be titrating it against some standard solution. We will be finding out its concentration, and then it is used. So such standard solutions, they are known as secondary standards. Now let us discuss about the endpoint. Endpoint, it is the point at which the chemical reaction it is complete. So it will be either indicated by using indicator, because when endpoint is reached, the indicator, it changes its color, so you can find out, yes, the reaction is complete. Or theoretically also we can find out the completion of reaction either through graph. In that case, we will be using some electroanalytical methods like pH metric method, conductometric method, potentiometric method. So through graph we can find out the completion of the reaction, and that is known as what equivalence point. Now let us understand the acid-base titration, which is also known as the neutralization titration, in which an acid will react with base or vice versa, and that will give you a neutral solution. So if you are taking a strong acid and a strong base, and you are titrating it like if you are taking HCl and NaOH. So when HCl and NaOH reacts, it gives you NaCl and water, which is neutral. So in that case, the pH, it will be 7. So endpoint will be at pH 7. So the curve which is shown here, initially it is giving you a pH of about 1. It means in the conical flask HCl is present, and in the burette you are taking NaOH. So as you go on adding NaOH, there will be increase in the pH, and at a point there will be very drastic increase. So this straight line you have to take, and the half of that, it will give you the equivalence point. And if you draw a straight line here, that will give you the volume. Now what will be the end point? depends on what will be the product formed. For example, in this NaOH is reacting with HCl, giving you NaCl and water. So the product is neutral, so you will get a pH of 7. This is another graph of strong acid-base titration. Now, in the previous graph that in which we were taking HCl in the conical flask, that is known as acidimetry, because you have to find the unknown concentration of acid. Now, in this case, you will be taking NaOH in the conical flask and HCl in the burette. So, since NaOH is taken in the conical flask, NaOH is a strong base, so you will be getting pH near 13. And now you are adding HCl from the burette, so pH will go on decreasing. There will be drastic decrease. So in this case also endpoint will be at pH 7, since the product formed is NaCl and water, which is neutral, so pH will be 7. And volume you can find out, you will draw a straight line from here, and this will be the volume. So such type of titration, it is known as alkylimetry, because here you are going to find out the concentration of NaOH. Now this is a titration of weak acid against a strong base. So in this you will be taking NaOH in the burette, and weak acid we have taken acetic acid in the conical flask. So when you react it, what you will be getting? You will be getting CH3COO Na, which is a weak base. So you are getting a weak base, so endpoint will be above 7. So in this, since your conical flask is having a weak acid, so pH is starting from 3. Now you are adding a base, so there is increase in the pH. There will be drastic increase. Endpoint you will get depending on the product. Here product is CH3CONA, so endpoint will be above 7. So this is a phenolphthalein indicator, which generally is seen as colorless if at pH 7 and less, and at pH 10, 8 to 10 it shows pink color. So while titrating, if there is change in the pH, so there will be change in the color of the indicator. So this we can apply here when we were doing the titration, acid-base titration. When we were titrating a solution, HCl we were taking in the conical flask and NaOH in the burette. So HCl is there in the conical flask, so pH it is less than 7. So in that case, if you add phenolphthalein, it will be colorless. And when you are titrating it with NaOH, there will be increase in the pH. So when that pH it goes somewhat near 8 to 10, it means that all the HCl which was present in the conical flask, that has finished, and now pH will be basic due to the addition of NaOH, excess amount of NaOH, and phenolphthalein. It will give you pink color. So endpoint in this case will be colorless to pink. Now if we see this case, in this we are taking HCl in the burette and NaOH in the conical flask. So at this time, if we use phenolphthalein indicator, 1 or 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator we put, it will become pink in color. Since in the conical flask there is NaOH, which is alkaline, having pH more than 7. And when we titrate it against acid, there will be drop in the pH, and when the pH reaches at about pH 7, it means that all the NaOH have finished, and now when you add excess HCl, you will get colorless solution. So now in this case, endpoint it will be pink to colorless. So this is how the indicators react. So let us try to understand the theory behind the colors of the indicators. For example, phenolphthalein. This is the structure for phenolphthalein. So when it is in the cunoid form, this is the cunoid ring. the lambda max value wavelength, it will shift towards the visible region, due to which it will show color, whereas in benzenoid form it will be colorless. Similarly, you can see methyl orange, it is having at pH 7 it is yellowish in color, and it changes to red color at pH 2. So that is basically due to the change in the structure. Now let us talk about the alkalinity of water. It is nothing but the acid neutralizing capacity of water, and that is basically due to the presence of carbonate, bicarbonates and hydroxide contents that is present in water. So it can be we can find out the alkalinity of water using volumetric analysis method. We will be doing acid base titration. So let us understand what is the basic concept. So if you see alkaline water, it is not good for industrial use because it leads to corrosion. And as I told you, it is we can find it out by acid base titration, either using phenolphthalein or methyl orange as an indicator. So alkalinity can be due to the presence of OH, carbonate and bicarbonate, or its combinations. If you want to find out half neutralization till carbonates, so you can use phenolphthalein, and for complete neutralization you have to use methyl orange as an indicator. Now let us see what is going on during acid base titration. These are the reactions which are going on when you are adding acid to alkaline water. It will result in the formation of water. Then when it react with the carbonates, it is giving you bicarbonate, and when it react with bicarbonate, it gives you bicarbonic acid, which further neutralize. So you can see complete neutralization is taking place here. So when you are using phenolphthalein indicator, initially when you add 2-3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator, it will turn pink since alkaline medium is there. So when you start your reaction, that is adding HCl, there will be drop in the pH. So at pH 7, phenolphthalein, it will turn colorless. But at pH 7, complete neutralization does not take place. So at pH 7, these two reactions they occur, that is OH is neutralizing and half of the carbonate is neutralizing. We are saying half because it is getting converted into bicarbonate. Again, it is responsible for the alkaline nature of the water. So you can say with P, phenolphthalein as an indicator, you can find out OH and half of carbonate. But if you want complete alkaline nature of water, methyl orange has to be used. So in the same solution, you can add methyl orange indicator and continue with your titration. So as you know, methyl orange indicator, if you see the nature of that indicator, as I told you earlier also, that methyl orange indicator, when pH comes to be near about 2 to 3, it will turn red. So now at this pH, it means there is complete neutralization of water, and you can take the reading. Calculations you have to do using the law of chemical equivalence. That is, let us say this is N1V1, that is concentration of HCl is known. Volume, you will get whatever reading you are getting, concordant reading you have to write, and N2 you have to calculate, and volume, that is known to you. So using law of chemical equivalence, you will be calculating the N2. And once N2 is known, you will be calculating the strength. Formula for strength is normality into equivalent weight. It is expressed in grams per liter.